Hey guys, what's up? Coming at you from the future here. I wanted to put this at the beginning of the video because I need your advice on something or some input from you guys on some decision making, and I know if I put it at the end of the video, a lot less of you guys will see it. So right now I'm kind of debating on more projects in my head on what I could bring to the channel. Obviously up until this point almost all of my content has been based around my 7.3 Powerstroke, which I love, you guys love. Obviously that's kind of the main focus of the subscriber base. I'm guessing most if not all of you have 7.3 Powerstrokes. That being said, I'm not getting rid of the 7.3 Powerstroke anytime soon, or I don't plan on it. But I am at the point where I have done a lot of stuff to this truck, and it's sitting at a really good spot. There's still a lot of stuff to be done to it, but a lot of the major stuff is already done. And so I'm kind of looking in the market of what other projects could I add to the channel that you guys would be interested in. So none of these are set in stone. I'm just kind of spitballing right here, throwing out ideas, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion on it. I've always loved sports cars. Not like a big sports car junkie, but I always really liked Mustangs. Not as much nowadays, which I can go into more on why if you guys are interested. But I've also really liked Corvettes, and obviously I can't afford a new Corvette, especially I can't afford a C8 Corvette. Definitely, or most likely can't afford a C7 Corvette at this time. Financially not the wisest decision, but I could pick up a C6 or a C5 Corvette and do a fun build series on that, kind of go through it and just have a fun car to drive. I'm kind of split between it. I would love to have kind of a more sporty car like that. I love the truck. I've done a lot of performance modifications to it, but at the end of the day, trucks aren't meant to go fast, and especially 7.3s. Now, that's not saying it's not possible, but it's kind of two different things. If you want to really go fast and have a good time and be a little more sporty, a sports car, something like a Corvette, would be awesome. I've always liked Corvettes. I think they're fun. I've always wanted to own one at some point in my life. And so I'm curious, would you guys be interested in some sort of Corvette content, maybe Mustang content? If we want to stick with the truck stuff, I have debated the idea of picking up an OBS 7.3 or a different 7.3, or pick up a 12 valve. I would love to build a vehicle up to around 500 or 600 horsepower, and I love the 7.3, and I've built a lot of really good connections with the 7.3 with various companies that I love working with. But at the end of the day, I think everyone here knows that 7.3s are expensive to build. As far as price to power goes, they are some pretty expensive trucks to build. And I love them, but that's not their forte. They're good, solid workhorses, but they're usually not drag trucks. And I would love to build a vehicle up to around that 500 or 600 horsepower range, which is another reason I'm looking at the 12 valves. Picking up an old 12 valve and building that up to 500 or 600 horsepower, if I had to guess, would probably be close to half the cost of building it with a 7.3. Or go with a Corvette and build something that's meant to go fast and make it go fast. I don't know yet. I would love to get your guys' opinion on these different things. I'm just looking at different projects ideas. I think all of them would be interesting. I've already done a lot of 7.3 stuff, and I would kind of like to branch out and bring in different audience groups to the channel. But at the same time, I have established the channel really well with 7.3 stuff, worked with KC Turbos. I don't know. The 7.3 stuff has been going well so far. Let me know what you guys think. I know I just added like 4 minutes onto this video, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion beforehand. Just leave your opinions down in the comments. Good, bad, whatever. I just want to know what you guys are thinking. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling here, let you guys get on to the video. Hopefully you enjoy it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. So today we got a fun video, should be pretty quick. Installing something on the truck that I would say has probably never been done on a 7.3 before. I would imagine I'm probably the first person in history to do this. I'm not sure by the title if you'll be able to tell what we're doing yet, but I guess I might as well just tell you or show you. Going to be installing a nice new CB radio on the truck. Got a nice Uniden unit. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by my tone, that was a total joke. I can only imagine how many trucks, 7.3s back in the day, and even still through today, are running CB radios. Something I've been looking to do for quite a while. Got the CB radio for Christmas, actually, and haven't gotten around to doing it until now. But I figure it's a nice day, not too hot, it's pretty nice weather out. Today would be a good day to get started on it. I have a couple ideas of where I want to put it in the truck. So I'll hop in the truck and experiment around, see what looks the best, see where it seems to fit right. I don't have a ton of experience with CB radios. It's kind of one of those things that you rarely see nowadays. Even on big rigs, I think they've switched to ham radios, if I remember correctly. Not all of them. I'm sure there's still tons of truckers out there running CBs, but they're not as common as they used to be. So why the heck do I want to put a CB radio in my truck? Kind of one of those things that I have a number of family members that also have CB radios in their trucks. I'd say two reasons, I guess. One of them is I got a couple family members that have CBs in their trucks, and when you're going on road trips and stuff and you're kind of driving in a caravan, it's kind of fun to have a CB radio where you can just whip out the unit itself, turn it on, and just kind of chat with each other like that instead of being on your cell phone the whole time. You can kind of do it that way. Which is kind of fun, just makes it fun for road tripping and communicating on road trips. It's really, I mean, what they're used for is for communicating, and it's pretty handy for that. Second reason I would say is there's a lot of useful information that truckers out there talk about, and a lot of bullshit they talk about. I mean, a lot of bull crap they talk about too, but if you ever want to know what's going up on the road, down the road ahead of you, having a CB radio and listening to the truckers talk or what's going on gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on. So having a CB radio is just kind of fun. It gets you a little bit more of the insight into the knowledge of what's going on the highway, and allows you to have some fun communicating with friends or family. Not to mention, it can be useful in emergency situations if you need to call out for help, or if let's say you're going through a storm, you're getting ready to go through a storm or whatnot. There's a lot of information that goes through on CB radio wavelengths that can give you some useful information. Road closures, etiquette, whatnot. So just kind of one of those things that I thought would be fun to have in the truck. So I'm going to be putting one in. Should be pretty simple, especially since I have that fuse and relay block already installed in the truck. Just run a power and ground to there, hook it up to the CB. I still have to go pick up an antenna cable and mount for the antenna, but I think I should be able to get that here in town, so not too worried about that. Right now, we're going to hop in the truck and see if we can find a good mounting location for this. In case any of you guys are new here, new to the channel, here's my truck, 2000 7.3 liter Powerstroke. A lot of stuff done to it. It is far from stock at this point. Just kind of been customizing it and building it to however I want it to be over the last couple of years. In case you're wondering what that is a wheelchair lift, because I am in a wheelchair. So that's what that is, for all the people wondering. Yeah, here's the old girl sitting all nice and pretty. Let's hop in, take a look. Alright, I know the lens is kind of a little too close for all this stuff to get a good angle, but I think I figured out where I wanted to mount it. Originally, I was thinking I was going to put it in this slot here. In case anybody's wondering, these are my hand controls. So I drive the truck, brake, you can see it down there, and gas. So, got to work around those a little bit. But originally I was thinking I was going to put it there. I didn't really like it because it sticks out probably 3 or 4 inches. And I could trim out the back of it, but I try to cut as few holes in the dash as I can. Obviously cut all those holes, but still try not to cut too many holes in the dash. So I could put it there. It sticks out a little farther than I wanted to. I thought about taking off my brake controller here, and then mounting my CB directly to the dash and then doing my brake controller right under it. But with my manual transfer case shifter, it gets really close on clearance, and so not sure if I want to do that. I've seen a couple people mount it to the bottom side of this ashtray or the bag hook if you have that. I'm not necessarily opposed to that because I never use the ashtray. I don't put coins in it or anything. It just kind of is there, which I would still be able to use it because it would just basically fold down anytime I wanted to use it, which I don't, but not necessarily opposed to that. One downside is if I had the cup holders out, obviously it would cover up the radio, but I have these cup holders from my 08 to 10 console that I put in, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think for now what I'm going to end up doing is actually put it right down here on the side of my center console, and I just have it kind of pushed in place right now, but have it mounted right there. Let's see if I can block some of that light. Mounted right there. I think it should be good. Maybe do some double-sided tape or some Velcro tape to hold it onto the center console, mainly because if I put this bracket on, it spaces it out probably a centimeter or so more, which would be pushing the speaker. The speaker's on the left side of it there, which would then be pushing the speaker into the seat more, maybe dampening the sound. I don't know. Maybe doing it like this won't even work well anyways because of where the speaker is. Not sure if you guys can see it, but the speaker's on that side of it. But kind of like this spot because it's totally out of the way. It's super easy for me just to reach down and make adjustments on it if I need to. And I don't have to drill any holes. So I think this will be my first spot that I try out. If I really don't like it, then I can change it in the future. It'll be super easy. But I think for now, we're going to be mounting it there. Then I can just take the wiring, the power and ground wires, run it into the carpet. I already have a little slot cut out right at the bottom corner of the seat. So I can run that under the carpet up to my fuse block under the hood. I have all my wires running through the firewall right around here because this is an automatic. That's where the clutch master cylinder would normally go through the firewall. It's not there, so on an automatic truck, it's basically just a big plug that you can remove. And that's where I run all my aftermarket wires through that I'm bringing through. So like all these switches that I put in that have wired up to the fuse and relay block, those all run through there. I have my center console 12 volt powered up to my fuse and relay block. That's running through there. So I will run my power and ground and my, I think it's the coax cable or antenna cable, whatever you want to call it, run that through the same spot as well. My only concern is bringing it through the engine bay. I'm hoping I don't get much interference, but we will find out, I guess. Other alternative would be to run it under the carpet to the back of the cab and go out a grommet back there, because I do think I'm going to have my antenna on the bed instead of the hood. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to get to running the power and ground, mounting it up there, and then we'll go from there. Well, alright guys, got the harness made up. I think it turned out pretty good. As you saw, I ended up snipping the original harness on the radio, and then I installed my own connectors. Mainly, the original harness wasn't long enough, and I could have just extended it. but I'm going to be plugging into my fuse block anyways, and so I didn't need the inline fuse that was with it. So I snipped this one off and then made up my own harness, ran power and ground, or black and red. Obviously got the connectors on that end with the heat shrink holding on the nice braided loom, and then on this end got the terminal connectors. Hopefully you can see that. Got the terminal connectors there. Terminal connectors there. So those will hook up to the fuse block. And now it's just as simple as running the wires back into the cab underneath the carpet to the radio, and then the radio is all mounted and powered up. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously it's going to be too late by the time you guys see it, but hopefully it'll help other people. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're not supposed to power up a CB radio until you have the antenna connected. That's what I've heard in the past. Otherwise it does something and fries the radio. I don't really know for sure, but that's what I'm going to do. So run the power to it, won't plug it in yet, get everything mounted up where I want it, and then we'll be going to the store to pick up the antenna, the cable, and a mount for the antenna. So there we go. I'm going to put these in. You guys don't need to see it. It's nothing too fancy. Well, alrighty guys, I'm not sure where I left off in the last clip, but the CB is all installed, buttoned up, tuned in, and working great. A couple days later at this point, kind of just worked on it on and off over the last couple days, and overall it went pretty smoothly. I think it turned out even cleaner than I had hoped for, which is always a good thing. There's a couple things that I might change down the road, but I gotta live with it a little bit and see how I feel about it, and then we'll go from there and see how things go. But for now, let me give you guys a quick look around on how everything turned out and how I set things up. Get you guys' opinion on it. Alright, so here we go. Here's the old girl. As you can see, ended up doing the antenna in the back. That is a 4-foot fire stick. I was kind of split between going 3-foot and 4-foot. As you can see, 4-foot sticks up a little ways, but obviously the higher up above the truck it sticks tends to perform better. So for now, totally fine with that. I might run into some tinging around if I ever go through some parking garages, but I don't think it'll be too bad. But as you can tell, ended up not putting it up front, moved it to the back. I really didn't want to run the coax cable through the engine bay. It probably would have been alright, but keep it away from all the heavier electronics and that stuff, hopefully to get a better signal out of things. So what I actually ended up doing was, I'll show you this in the cab, or I'll kind of show you. The wires are all kind of tucked away at this point, but I ended up going from where the CB is down to the back of the cab, through a grommet in the bottom, and then back up through the bed. And my 9-foot cable that I got was just about perfect. I probably had 6 or so inches to spare, which is perfect, because I didn't want to have to coil up the cable at all either. Nice, clean, straight run. So let me show you guys the antenna, how we mounted it up, and then we'll hop into the cab and I'll show you the CV. Alright, try not to burn myself on my bed rails here. But as you can see, here is the mount for the antenna. We got the coax cable coming in underneath it, and then the second wire, that's kind of hard to see, that is the ground cable grounding the whole base to the frame. We mainly did that. We probably wouldn't have needed it, but we ended up deciding to do it because my bed is coated. There was not much grounding contact to it. Now something I might change is this spring itself, go down to a lighter duty spring. This one is a very heavy duty spring, and as you can see, the spring itself isn't flexing, the bed rail is, or the front of the bed is. So I'm a little concerned that if I go through and hit something on the antenna, I would rather have the spring bend than the metal itself. Here's something you might be able to see, give you guys a look at it. You can kind of see that it's the front of the bed that's actually flexing and not the spring. But overall, pretty happy with how it turned out. As far as looks go, I think it looks just about right. Definitely sticks up there, but it's a CB antenna, so it's supposed to. You probably won't be able to see back in there, but got the wires running through the grommet at the front of the bed, and then they go up under the cab to right under the back seat. So let's hop in the cab and take a look at that. Here we go, looking under the back seat. Hopefully you can see this all right once the camera adjusts. But this is the grommet in the back that all the wires are run through for my wheelchair lift in the back here. Here's the control box for that. And so all the wires run through a grommet right there through the floor. And that's also where we ended up running the coax cable through, which is this one right there. Nice direct shot, turned out really clean. I never have anybody sitting in this spot anyways because I keep my subwoofer right behind my seat, and so when it's all tucked away you would never even know any of that stuff was there. So then moving up to the front, we'll take a look at the CB itself. So looking at the CB itself, I mounted it obviously right here between the center console and my seat, completely out of the way, doesn't interfere with the legs at all. Got the mic right there, nice and out of the way. I haven't decided if I want to mount it up on the dash yet. Right now that's pretty good, works out perfectly. I can just reach down, turn it on, adjust the volume, adjust the controls, change the channel. It is all right there, easy to get to. I was a little concerned about the speaker on this side being up against the seat. No problems at all. Had the truck running even at half to 3/4 volume. Not any issues with hearing what's being said on the radio. Super pleased with it. I tested it out with my uncle. He took his truck out and drove out a number of miles away. I don't know exactly how far away he was, but it was not line of sight by any means. Different valleys, hills, houses, trees, a pretty good distance, and it read really well. If I had to guess, probably 3 to 4 miles, but that could be wrong. Overall, super pleased with this. I'm looking forward to going on a trip, being in a convoy, and being able to just chat it up with people. So there you guys have it. That is the install and how it all turned out. Let me know what you guys think about it. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I think it turned out cleaner than I expected. I was kind of expecting it to have a little more wires exposed, kind of be in the way a little bit, but I think it tucks away really nicely where it is. And the CB antenna, I think, looks and works good. Back where it is, we thought about putting it in one of the back corners of the bed. It would probably get better reception up there, or even if I put it up on the grill guard of my truck, it'd probably get better reception up there, having it a little bit spaced away from the body of the truck. But kind of walking that line between what looks good and what works good, and so I think we found a pretty good happy compromise, and it seems to work pretty darn good. Another thing that I didn't mention earlier on is when we go out to the ranch and we're rounding up cattle and stuff, when we're out by the trucks and around the trucks, having a good radio system is super handy, because most of the ranch doesn't have much cell service out where the ranch is, and so having a good radio system that you can rely on is pretty handy. Something that your average day American doesn't have to deal with. But when you're on a 1,000-acre ranch and most of it doesn't have cell service and you're trying to round up some cattle, having a good radio system is pretty handy. You could be out looking for a person longer than you're actually looking for the cattle at that point. So just different uses. Probably won't be using it a ton, but the times you do have it, it is kind of fun to have, and it is pretty useful. So let me know what you guys think about it. Would you have done something differently? Put it somewhere else? Be interested in your guys' opinions. I think with that, the video is probably at a pretty good stopping point. I will probably sign off here. It should be over 100 degrees this weekend, so chances are I'm not going to be out working in the driveway, which is good because I can get this video filmed and edited and uploaded for you guys to go up this Sunday. going to be a toasty one. Hopefully this is the last real hot weekend of the year. I'm not quite ready for all the rain of the winter yet, but we still got a little ways out. I'm looking forward to fall somewhat. It's kind of catch-22, best time of year, but it means winter's coming. So it is what it is. Hopefully we're done with the 100-degree weather around here after this weekend. So with that, if you guys like the video, leave it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you're new here and you're not subscribed to the channel and you're interested in various different automotive content, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Just passed 7,000 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. So thank you all that have decided to tune in and watch my ugly mug talk to the camera for a little bit here and there. Should hopefully be getting some more projects on the channel at some point in the near future. Got a truck sitting on the side yard that I'm trying to get the motivation to get started on it. Hopefully we'll be getting started on it soon. Some of you guys have already seen the truck a little bit, so you might be able to place your guesses on what it is and what we're doing. But hopefully that'll be happening pretty soon. Change it up from 7.3 content a little bit. Still have some more, plenty of stuff planned for that. Just trying to figure out where to put the money and what projects to do first. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Catch you guys next time.